G'day fellow miners and welcome back to the Hypermine server. My name is Armitage and this is episode number 11 in my Feed the Beast series. First up, thank you very much Slip. Slip left me a lovely present of a stack of stacks of green stuff. Uranium. Thank you very much for that, man. It's something that I don't have a great deal of. I have a lot of everything else, but pardon me, but uranium is not one of those a lot of things I have, as can be attested to by my little display here of showing off that I have 22,000 UU matter and 5,740 iridium, because they were crazy mofo. Nether stars. So yeah, thanks for that Slip. Very handy. It's required for making ultimate hybrids, and I pretty much run out of uranium. I think I've like maybe 100 uranium refined uranium ingots. So they're very handy. I just have to do a couple of little things to prepare for this episode again. So bear with me guys, I'm going to take a quick cut here and I will be back. Alright folks, we are back, and if you remember a couple episodes I showed you this little small manufacturing area I set up for making impregnated cases and impregnated sticks. Of course the impregnated cases are used in making apiaries, and the impregnated sticks are used in making frames. And I was going to make these three bottom carpenters into honey carpenters, but I needed some stuff made with water, so I ended up putting water in these and adding another three carpenters to make these fellows here. Now these fellows here are what they call scented panels. They require honey, so they required me to have my bee production up, which I will show you now. Is these rows of, I think it's like 15 hives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hives. And I have a couple of bees going at the moment. I have four different bees going at the moment. The first species I got running was the Valiants, and Valiants are a rare find in hives, like normal wild hives. So, and they're quite good because they have a couple of really good traits. One of them being nocturnal, the other being cave dwelling, I believe. That's right, yes. But in order for them to work in the nether, as you can see, the hellish and arid climate of the nether, I needed to use the climatizers up the top there. If you remember, I spoke about them last episode or the episode before. And these were the base bee, these were the foundation bee for my entire bee empire. With the obvious exception, of course, of meadows and forest bees in order to make these fellows here, the cultivateds, which are virtually in every single, well, in the vast majority of other bee breeds, you require cultivated breeds, cultivated bees. With the help of my good friend Ironface, I used his mutating alveary at his base to get up a few different breeds just to get things started. And one of those is, there's a few staple bees that you need. One of those is the industrious bee, and the industrious bee, what that does is it creates pollen. Pollen is important because you need pollen to make scented panels for alvearies, so they're an absolute must to have. And I've got 5, well maybe 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 apiaries going with industrious bees in them. Another bee you need is a royal jelly producing bee. Oh, I heard a will-o-wisp, whatever they're called, a wisp. There are two bees that produce pollen, that's a gold nugget, produce royal jelly. One of them is the classical bee, which is the highest rate of production, and I decided to go with that. The other one is, of course, the royal bee. No, the I have some of them. They're up here. Monarch, noble, majestic. It's from that line, noble or majestic or something. Anyway, the top bee in that line has an effect though that regenerates you, but I didn't feel that was necessary. I would much rather have the higher production. The other bee that I have bred is underneath my my silverwood tree, and it is in these apiaries, and it is the heroic bee. And the reason I bred the heroic bees is because they have an effect that damages hostile mobs, and I've been finding that I've been getting pigmen in my little glass enclosure here, in which I've been keeping some deer. My little bunnies and my little squirrels are all gone. I put in some of these smokers to give it a little bit more character, being in the nether. I thought that was kind of a bit of a cool effect. As a side effect of having the bees underneath, they've pollinated the grass. I put loads of flowers in there, which looks pretty cool. Looks very nice in there, especially with the crystals. And I've got my little Bambies in there. Hey, Bambies. And no pigmen, because the pigmen get killed by the heroic bees, which is cool. Oh, we just saw a bee fly through that pipe. If you didn't see it, oh, there's another one. You didn't see it, rewind it and look. So this is my base production, the base production of bees. I want to get more classical bees going, and I have a plan for that. This whole row is full of cultivated bees, so they're producing tons of honey. I do want to get more industrious bees, or at least one more industrious bee going. The Valiants are alright. I might even cut the Valiants back and get perhaps an additional apiary of industrious bees, because I don't really need the Valiants much anymore, apart from for breeding the bees to turn into DNA, which this covers quite well because this generates a lot of bees. These cultivated bees are on short lifespan, so they die pretty quickly and produce and 2 drones. So one drone comes back in with the princess, and the other drone gets sucked into the system and then fed into my bank of gene pools, which I have here. And you can see here that the Valiant drones and the cultivated drones, and I also had embittered drones in there, which I'm feeding. Actually, I'm feeding those in. No, I don't get any additional embittered drones. I had embittered drones in my ME system that I wanted to get rid of, so I got rid of them by turning them into BNA, which we can see in this tank right here. If you remember, we looked at these tanks the other day. This is the seed oil tank, and I thought I was going to have issues with that, but I've come up with a way of getting around that, and I do want to show that. Hopefully this episode, maybe next. But my honey stock is coming up quite nicely, and my DNA stock is coming up quite nicely. Push on. I wanted to do... Actually, I'll show you the rest of the lab. We ran through here slightly. These are the genetic machines, and I have multiple banks of them, and I have them in groups. Like I have a synthesizer, which fills the serum vials up. Then I have a purifier, which brings the quality of them up. And then I have an inoculator. So I have 6 banks, or 8 banks, sorry, of those. The idea being this bank is specifically for giving bees a nocturnal trait. This bank is specifically for giving bees long lifespan. This bank is specifically for bringing their temperature tolerance up 5. This bank is specifically for bringing their humidity down 5. this bank is specifically for giving them fast productivity, and this bank is specifically for effect cancellation. So there's always two excellent quality recharged, well, there's always two excellent quality serums and one fully recharged, one being used, and then a full awful quality, which I can then, so I can shuffle them, you know, I can take the empty one out here, put it in here, put the one that's in here, put the one that's in here, and so you go. So there's never really a need to wait for a serum to get filled up, and I can just bang the bees in and have them inoculated on the go. Realistically, what I should do is I should take that out, put it in here, take that out, put that in here, take that out, put that in there, and then whack that fella in there, and that way it's, and then this will fill up with charges over time. It'll go down to like awful quality, and then this will get purified up to excellent quality, and then, you know, I'm back to square one again. So that's that's that system all taken care of. So that's the genetics, and this is my little bank of bees where I've got, these are not pure bees, these are just stock bees. So if I ever need, like if I ever need a majestic, or if I ever need a steadfast bee, I've got them here, and these are just breeding stock basically. You know, in some of the bee breeding, I'll need unweary, or I'll need noble, or something like that. So I've just got some breeding stock there for getting mutations that I want, and once I've got those mutations, I'll then shove them through this process to get them working in the nether. Obviously, because of the climate here, it being hellish and arid, I need to like play with the bees to get them to work here. That brings me to my next task, and I want to try and cover this as quickly as I can. Today we are going to build a couple of alvearies, one for mutating bees, and we're going to put a row of frame housings down on the bottom floor. Then we are going to put a row of normal, and then we'll put normals like this. Then we can put, no, we don't want to put normals like that, we want to get rid of these, and this one, because we are going to put fans in these, and this is going to be essentially this is going to be an alveary for mutating bees that don't have the traits to actually live in the nether. And we need one of these fellows, and I'm only going to use one of these fellows, and we need one of these fellows. Come on. Actually, I might put this at the bottom just to make it make sense. We need a alveary lighting, which allows the bees to breed if they don't have nocturnal trait. And then we're going to finish this off with the top row. Oh, my gliding's taking, oh, my gliding is, yay, whoa. The top row, then we will cap it off with halfy slabbies, as you do with an alveary. If you really want to find out more about alvearies, Benito has a series on the various blocks and what they do, so head to his channel and have a look. It will explain everything. Now what I do need to do is I do need to power these fans, so I need to power the fans. So we are going to we're going to turn that into a BC producer. We are going to pop that there, pop that there. Should we pop that there? It's hard up against that corner. I'm not fond of having it like that. Oh, this will be a good test. We've been doing some lag troubleshooting on the server, and that was pretty quick actually. That is good. That is very good. And yeah, we've been doing some lag troubleshooting on the server, and it is it's good that that disappeared very quickly. Yeah, let's do it like that. Put that there, and then we can put our energy bridge. Oop! We can throw our energy bridge away. We figured out a couple of different things. One, having a having chunk loaders is not as bad as people think they are, and I've always known this. I've always like been a bit of an advocate for I'll go off one of these two. I'll go off two. I've always been a bit of an advocate, so you can see that the frames are on, and you can see we're down to warmer and arid. So the temperature is dropping because these fans are stopping the bringing the temperature down. And the one thing I did forget to do, and where can I add it? I think I'm going to have to add it on the side here. I'm going to have to break this fellow, and I'm going to put a hydrogida. I don't know how to say it, but anyway. Pardon me. Yeah, having chunk loaders in some cases is actually better than not having chunk loaders. The reason is that you've got to manage your chunks properly. You can't just like higgledy-piggledy have chunks loaded here and chunks loaded there. If you have a system of machines and they pass into an unloaded chunk, like a network of machines, and some of them go into an unloaded chunk, you are going to be causing more lag with that than you would if you left those machines continually loaded, because it puts a lot more stress on the server, having the server try and figure out what chunks need to be loaded, rather than you just like, actually I don't want that there, because I want to be able to feed these things automatically with frames, maybe. Yeah, you don't. Can I just turn this on to lava, to water? So yeah, as I was saying, it is in a lot of cases much better. Oh, that'll just work like that. Much better to just allow the have the server have these machine networks loaded, and have these machine networks loaded. And why is that not bringing that down? Do I need a second hydrogen? I might need a second hydrogen. Yeah, it's better to have these things loaded with chunk loaders than it is to have the machines make queries to the server and ask for chunk loading. Like, if that makes any sense. I seem to be missing one of these guys. Yeah. So we went round and we had a bit of a look around at some stuff, and it turned out that there was a few things that were, or a few places that were unloaded or partially loaded with chunk loaders, and machines were telling the server off, getting the server to force other chunks to load. So we loaded them up with chunk loaders instead, fully, and we've had a huge reduction in lag. Really big reduction in lag. We are also trialing a new server at the moment. Well, I'm not playing on it now, but we may be switching to a new server, which will possibly be very, very cool. But until then, this server is actually running about twice as good as it was a couple of weeks ago. Like, I've really not experienced much in the way of lag at all. Only really experienced lag that would be like associated with my particular latency, being Australian and all. Australian. Let's see what that did. There we go. That's what we want. We want normal climate, normal humidity. So that's that there. And I know I'm skipping around a bit, but this basically will give me the ability to breed any normal bee in the nether. So it's essentially, it's exactly the same as the overworld, with no rain, full daylight, and normal temperature, normal humidity. And that's a combination of the cooling fans, these fans, and these hydrogenators. You can see they're full of water, and they can be pumped. The water can be pumped into them, which is cool. And there's the other thing. So that's one thing I wanted to do. The other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to just set up a nether style mutation alveary, and this is going to need frame housings. Instead, frame housings and a mutator again. I probably won't bother with automating these frame housings actually, nor will I probably bother with automating the bee breeding, because the thing about the beauty of having the mutator is that and all these frames is that the bees breed very well, they die very quickly, and they're basically guaranteed to mutate to the bee that you want. And the bee that I want is something that Slip already has, because it's where his little gift came from, his beautiful, beautiful gift. It is the uranium bees. And I'm going to use these, and I am going to use chocolate frames to accomplish this. And chocolate frames, what they do is they reduce the lifespan of the bees in the hive by heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps. So basically what that does is it allows you to breed or mutate bees very, very quickly and with guaranteed success using these alvearies. And the reason being is that a nether star will give you within an alveary there is a 2% chance, base 2% chance, or actually I believe it's a base 2% chance for any bee mutation to occur. Some of them are higher. A lot of them are like 8 or 10%. Some of them are really rare though. So with a base chance of 2% with a single nether star in the mutator, that gives a 50 times bonus, which means that... Oh, look how quick they get made. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Another whole stack gone. Bang. Bang. Another stack ready to go. I've got so many wither skulls in storage. With a nether star in the mutator, that gives it 100% chance, because 50 times 2 is 100. And it was when I was at school, and it still is today while you're at school. So essentially, oh, there you go. Our wither skeletons are going off like frogs in a sock. Essentially, that means that I can pretty much get any bee that I want with those two aviaries, alvearies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the episode here. I think it's gone long enough. It's going to be quite a long episode. It's going to be probably a 30-minute after a couple of short ones. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Why has that got liquid in it? Must have just pumped it out. Leave a comment asking questions about my very fast-speaking episode. If you have any ideas or suggestions, again, leave a comment. Most of all, leave a like. It really helps. And tell your friends about my channel, because I want to get above 3,100 subs. I've been stuck at 3,080 for so long, and I cracked 3,080 the other week, and I've been sitting on 3,090 since then, just hovering there, like obviously losing subs, gaining subs. Got a lot to do with my upload schedule, but please spread the word if you really like my videos. Hello Moo. And, you know, share the video around if you're enjoying the series. But most of all, keep on digging.